And we are live dito po sa 899 Action Center. Linggo na naman at masaya na naman ang pag-uusapan po natin and very educational po. Live na live po tayo dito sa Green Department Studio, dito po sa Winnipeg. And maraming salamat po in advance po kay Manager Boss Lito. Ayan po ng Green Department, Heating and Air Conditioning. Okay po, ang guest po natin tonight is Kapitapitagan. Si Kelly Legaspi, Philippine Nurses of Manitoba. Pag-uusapan po natin yung mga current issues ngayon about nursing na mga matunog, mga requirements para yung pwede nilang i-practice ang kanilang profession from the Philippines here in Winnipeg. Again, let's welcome Kelly Legaspi of Philippine Nurses of Manitoba. Good evening, Kelly.
Good evening. Good evening po sa inyong lahat. So honored to be here at 899 Action Center. Sana masagot ko ang inyong mga katanungan.
Okay po. Interactive po tayo in the last 30 minutes or 15 minutes. May mga questions po tayo sa mga audience po natin. At sana po mas bigyan natin ng mga kasagutan or solusyon ang yung mga katanungan po in regards po sa profession ng nursing. Ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Ready. Okay, so let's start po sa mainit-init na tanong. Nurse po ako sa Pilipinas. Ano po? Pumunta po ako ng Winnipeg, nag-migrate po ako ng Canada or Manitoba. Pwede ko bang may practice yung aking profession bilang nurse sa Philippines?
Yes, absolutely. It depends on how long you have been staying in Manitoba and how long you have been out of nursing practice. So for starters, you have to learn, enrich your knowledge in regards to licensing in Manitoba. Here in Manitoba, by the way, I've been a nurse here in Manitoba since 2000, and I landed as a provincial nominee, so permanent resident as an immigrant. And then I readily practiced my nursing profession. So medyo iba yung nangyari sa amin. Iba-iba ang naging istorya ng bawat nurse na nagpunta dito sa Manitoba. But in general, knowing the process of the application to get your nursing license here in Canada, specifically in Manitoba, is a must. So there are a lot of available resources, depende which college you want to pursue. Because here in Canada, specifically Manitoba, we do have different types of nursing titles. So first off is you can be a licensed practical nurse, a registered nurse, Bachelor of Nursing. You can also be a nurse practitioner and a nurse with advanced practice.
Wow, ang dami nun.
Yeah.
Pag himay po natin, nabanggit mo na you mentioned kanina is the process. What are the process to be LPN?
Yeah. So since I am a registered nurse, I will refer to the College of Registered Nurses of Manitoba kasi mas reliable ako to speak because of my experience and because of my job title. So although all the College of Nursing, kasi the regulatory body here is called college.
College, okay.
Yeah, it's the college. So yun yung nagre-regulate ng license, sila nag-i-issue ng license, sila nagmo-monitor ng nursing license, and actually other professions too, that merong College of Physicians and Surgeons, may College of Engineers, etc., etc. So they are the professional regulating body. So punta tayo sa nursing. So there are 3 colleges: College of Licensed Practical Nurses in Manitoba, College of Registered Nurses in Manitoba, and College of Psychiatric Nursing in Manitoba, Registered Psychiatric Nursing in Manitoba. So punta tayo, pare-pareho lang. They are very, very similar for internationally educated nurses. So this will also apply to non-Filipinos who had finished or practiced as nurses outside of Canada. So with the Registered Nurses of Manitoba, they have actually on the website 7 steps, but very broad and very time consuming and at a lot of work. So with the College of Registered Nurses, they divided it into 7 steps. First is you apply through a National Nursing Assessment Service, the NNAS. And then you will open a file with the college. So you will fill up yung particulars, create your profile, and then that can be accessed through their website. Ganun din sa CLPNM and then sa CRPNM. And then the college will review the application, and then they will determine should you need to go for a clinical competency assessment. So yung clinical competency assessment, that is where they will assess your skills from where you came from. That is where you will show your experience. And then once na na-evaluate yon, they will see whether you need to go for the bridging program, which is now called the nurse re-entry program.
Yes, okay. Discuss natin yan mamaya. Okay.
Yeah, nasa question yun.
Yeah.
So, or they will also suggest or recommend taking courses through the University of Manitoba. So, that is a sidetrack, parang masasegue yung application instead of going direct. Now, after that, when you completed the CCA, and or the required courses with the NREP, the reentry program, then you will be directed to, kung walang problema, you will be directed to take the NCLEX. That is the exam.
Okay.
When you pass that exam, that is when you finally get your professional license and you can now practice.
Nursing dito.
Yes.
You mentioned about credential assessment kanina for IEN or International Educated Nurses. What are the credentials that they should be preparing?
Okay, so when I went through it quickly, kasi the other document that I had was dated 2020, so I wanted to refresh my memory kasi nga
it's been a
dahil
long time.
we want them to know the latest. So actually, I find it easier now based on what I have gone through myself, based on what we have gone through helping other Filipino nurses through our association before. Kasi right now in their website, they do have diagrams na.
Oh,
they have diagrams like flow chart. So if you're on step 1, step 2, very, very detailed and very easy to understand. So if they access, this is available on the website of CRNM. You click on the tab Internationally Educated Nurses, and then you click on applying or application. You will find all the guides and then all the specific documents. So as far as I could recall with what they are asking for, of course, your transcript of records that are also, in case it is written in a foreign language like Filipino or any other foreign languages, you need to have that translated officially and stamped na it's an official translation of your diploma, your transcript, your course syllabus, I think, course description. Yeah, that you can readily get from the registrar of your university or whatever institution you took your nursing from. Work experience. It's a letter from your employer certifying that you had actually worked as a registered nurse from the country where you came from, etc., etc., etc. Hindi importante ang sedula at barangay clearance.
Okay, so work experience, because does it has a way in
the application? Not necessarily, but what I can say based on my experience in mentoring other Filipino nurses or internationally educated nurses, those that really had a vast work experience as a nurse has generally a better chance or a better way of adapting to the clinical setup here. Kasi you've actually practiced being a nurse.
Yeah.
So like what the saying says, experience is the best teacher.
Correct.
So when you have that experience, it makes it a lot easier for anyone to adapt to a new environment.
Okay, well said. You mentioned bridging school or bridging programs. We have viewers outside Canada as well, or in the Philippines. What is a bridging program or course?
Okay, so based on the application, the steps for the application to
Mhm.
get your nursing license in Canada, particularly Manitoba, they do assess your skills. Okay, so the skills in relation to how you practice nursing at the bedside, it may vary from administering medications, inserting a catheter, starting an IV line, or looking after a wound or whatnot, following the protocols of nursing practice. So if they assess you and you seem to lack some skills, or let's say you have the skills but you need to refresh it in to meet the standards here, then they will suggest or they will tell you to take courses. So yun yung results ng clinical competency assessment. So they will either direct you to go to Red River College for the nurse re-entry program, or to University of Manitoba to take a few courses that will address to enhance that skill set.
Correct. Okay. Kasi misconception ng iba, yeah, I'm a nurse in the Philippines. Then I go to Winnipeg, I can practice my nursing profession in Winnipeg. So hindi pala ganun. Not necessarily
Not right away.
right away.
There is a process because it is a profession that is regulated. Any profession that is regulated in Canada really needs a license. You cannot practice without a license, without a professional license. So how to practice? You have to get that professional license first. So that is actually the meat of what we are here for.
Yes. And does it only apply in Manitoba or does it apply to other provinces
Other
as well?
provinces as well.
Very
Actually, back in the day, during our time with the Philippine Nurses Association of Manitoba, it was quite harder because every province in Canada and territories, they do have different sets of requirements.
That's what I heard before.
Yes, it was really hard. You come to Manitoba and then all of the sudden, let's say you discovered you have family in Alberta and you want to move. It wasn't that easy. It's not easy to reciprocate your license from here to there and to there and to there. And what if, and here in Canada, it's very common to be moving about.
Correct,
Like you go where you're comfortable. Like let's say napasubo ka sa Winnipeg because of the weather, and now you don't want the weather, you want to move to BC. Back in the day, it's very toxic. It's very tiring because you would have to go through the process all over again, pretty much. Now that they have somewhat standardized it, not so very standard across the country, but at least with the National Nursing Assessment Service is being utilized by every province and territory here in Canada. So there are a lot of similarities. There's one standard that they follow. So it's easy to reciprocate. Not very easy, but at least compared to where we were before, it's easier now.
Correct. And again, of course, you heard the news that the government of Manitoba got some nurses from the Philippines going to work here. Does it require a working visa or what's the language proficiency?
Yeah, actually, I am not sure how and what those nurses are going to be doing right now. I heard that some of them had already made it and landed here in Manitoba, but we don't know where they are, to be honest. Or maybe I am just huli sa balita. But some of them, what I know, they are working as uni, or what they call now as an undergraduate nurse. I don't know what the E is. So they are nurses, but they're not licensed yet.
I see.
They work under the wings of a licensed nurse.
Like you.
Yes.
Okay, so again, they have to undergo the same process as you discussed earlier.
Yes, but then of course it's any manpower, any avenue. I'm not saying that it's bad or whatnot, but it's good for our healthcare system.
Mhm.
It's good for our economy.
Mhm.
That is the government's way of supporting professionals from across the globe
Mhm.
to come to Canada, and that is their way of supporting and keeping our healthcare afloat.
Yeah.
So, whatever or wherever they may be, we
Mhm.
hope that in the future, in the near future, they will also be part of our licensed, regulated nurses frontliners.
There you go. Speaking of going back to school for for refreshing of their skills, does it require financial cost?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes. Through the application process, the NNAS alone, the expedited process, I don't know how much the regular process is, but the expedited process, which is supposed to be finished in 5 to 15 days, meron ka ng assessment, it costs about $750. And then the exam itself, the NCLEX exam, it costs about 350 Canadian dollars.
And does the association support scholarships and everything as well?
Not necessarily the association, but you know what? When you search online, financial support for internationally educated nurses, a list will pop up. And I can attest to that because our government is very, very helpful for, like, they really support immigration to Canada. So this is only one page of the list. Those are scholarships. One actually is a grant, a financial assistance from the government, which you can access by going to gov.mb.ca slash ang haba eh. Slash economic, natural resources, and development something something. And they do offer, as long as you're eligible, of course, in any financial assistance or whatnot, you would have to go through, you have to meet the criteria. So there is a criteria for eligibility for all these financial resources. But at least we know that they're there.
They're there.
Yeah.
So all the websites, I'll be putting them on the description line on our Facebook and YouTube. Then you can access it after. Okay. So for the support or resources available for IEN during the transition, mahirap po yun eh. Coming from a different country, then you're adapting a new, how do you call this one, style of profession. How does it help your associations or your groups?
Okay, actually, here in Manitoba, since we've already said it, we have the Philippine Nurses Association in Manitoba. There are other cultural associations and organizations here in Manitoba. Actually, to date, if I remember it correctly, we have 82 Filipino organizations in Manitoba alone. Be it cultural, be it barkadahan, be it provincial associations like, Quezon Province, Bulacan, Ilocano, name it. We have them all here in Manitoba. You'd see them yearly, diba? So, these associations, I think because we belong to Manitoba, which is very famous and known to being friendly. And then plus, with almost, how many are we? 100,000 Filipinos in Manitoba. It is innate amongst us Filipinos. The pakikisama, the pakikiramdam, the pakikipagkapwa. That is one of our core values being
Correct.
Filipinos. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you come here, may makita ka lang na Pilipino sa bus stop or sa grocery. You will learn a lot.
Yes.
So be not afraid of coming to Manitoba because there are help. Like Aldous is here, he had helped a lot of immigrants. So, and I myself,
Yes.
being one of the immigrants from before and having stayed here for this is my 24th year. My goodness, almost half of my lifetime. So yeah, like every Filipino here, wherever we have come from before, we are always ready to help.
Correct.
We are always ready to alalay. We are always ready to hatid sundo or to point them to the right direction. Right? So, yeah. So that's one thing that we have that others don't have.
Yeah, we call it bayanihan, of course, our native language. So even though from other cultures, from other countries, of course, we have a lot here.
Oh,
It's
yes.
a melting pot of different cultures or in Winnipeg. Then you won't get homesick.
Yes, actually, back in the day, I had mentored not only Filipinos who are undergoing the application process and the review for the exam. I had mentored Singaporeans, I had mentored Chinese, Vietnamese, and East Indians to go through the process and then review. We used to hold reviews for them when it wasn't the NCLEX exam yet because that was really a bloody exam back in the day. My goodness, I think in a flick of an eyelash the process changed, the exam changed. So we were really very active before because we need nurses. It's not, we cannot deny it. The healthcare system is not going to stay afloat if not for internationally educated nurses.
Correct.
So we were really active back in the day. We are on the ball when there is any change. So we were assigned, like the founding members of the association were assigned, like, okay, you have this group of people. So because of the spirit of volunteerism na rin, and then your willingness to help others, especially
Especially you, yeah.
co-nurses, right? Like they came here, we need them. So we chose to be available for them pretty much 24/7. And so, yeah, different cultures, different struggles, different family background, different social background, different stories. So we learn a lot from them, but they also learn a lot from us.
Correct.
Yeah.
As you well know, Kelly Legaspi is a community leader. Mataba pong puso niya. Is willing to help anytime, 24/7. And I know her
Kardiomegaly.
I know her for the longest time. Matagal na tayo magkakilala.
Grabe, oo.
Yeah, and we're always on the community, same group, helping other people. You mentioned kanina the process of yung may flow chart. Do you have a timeline for that? Ano ba
Yes,
yung-
actually. So if during the regular if you are going through the regular process, na no problem, no click, no kinks, no nothing, you have everything. What I found is they have it expedited already. Like in 3 months, you can probably take the exam.
Oh, wow.
Kung walang problema.
Yes.
Now, yun namang mga hindi medyo pinalad na you have to go through the courses. There are courses that can take 6 months. So you are in school for 6 months. And then after that, tuloy yung application process until you get the go signal to take the exam. So maybe a year.
Okay, you said you mentioned problems. What are the usual gaps?
Usual gaps. So when you get the application form, the difference is what I have learned from before and until now. Canadians kasi, they like elaborate answers.
Yes.
When they ask you questions, when they read your answers, they want to see the picture right away.
Correct. Yeah.
Hindi po pwede yung mga short answer. Kumare essay. So that's why in the application form, when they say use an extra sheet of paper, go do that. Because you can elaborate your answer, you can explain, you would be, it will really paint a picture. So let's say, ano bang magandang question?
Mga medical term.
Maybe question na, let's just make up one. Gaano ba tayo katagal dito, Tito Boy? Tito Boy Abunda.
You get 1 hour.
Fast talk ba to?
Fast talk.
So let's say, let's make up a question. How can you incorporate the healthcare in socio-economic something situation? Yun ang liit-liit na tanong. Pero if you would be able to give an essay description of what you will do, then the better your chances are. Not like short answers, like the socio-economic and then period. No. So it's better to be really descriptive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And paint the whole picture.
Yeah. So ganun ang Canadian. Even with my regular job, the job that I do right now, I work for home care. I am a home care coordinator based in the hospital. When I do my IPN and it's really detailed, malayo ang nararating.
Kasi gusto nila yung tama, gusto nila yung detalyado.
No, because you really will reflect your assessment.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And syempre, in a human being, in looking after a human being, you really have to describe everything, every single thing.
So, yung essay kasi natin sa Philippines during the college days, short and concise.
Ay, oo.
Yeah. Direct to the
So,
point.
ibig sabihin, babalikan mo ngayon yung essay mo nung elementary at high school ka, may informal team at saka formal team writing. Yun ang babalikan mo doon.
So,
yeah. Huwag naman 100 words. Pwede 100 words. Huwag naman 500 kasi maraming questions. You need to finish it too.
So marami rin viewers from the Philippines, Kel, na gustong pumunta rin dito. Ano yung dapat nilang i-prepare on their end before na pumunta dito as mga
make sure that you have all your education documents, all originals, anong tawag doon? With a stamp, notarized, and make sure save copies that also has a stamp na certified true copy. You only give all your original documents when you're asked for. Para hindi nawawala. And if you are able to get 2 copies of both original, then all the better. Then at least one goes missing, you still have one. Transcript, course description, diploma, yung mga ganun.
Okay. Na-mention mo ka na about nursing. Switch over muna tayo sa healthcare kasi may question kanina. Does it apply the same process sa healthcare aid sa Philippines going as a healthcare aid worker?
Ay, hindi.
Hindi? Iba?
No. Kasi here, ang healthcare aides, they really have to go through school. Yeah.
So kahit healthcare aid sila sa Philippines, again, back to zero dito.
Yeah.
I see.
Mag-aaral ka talaga.
So again,
kasi healthcare aides are non-regulated. So they have their own training, their own standards. Hindi siya comparable dun sa training and standards that we have back home.
There you go. Kapag healthcare aid, if you're a healthcare aid in other countries, still you have to undergo schooling here in Winnipeg to get accredited.
But still, don't be afraid to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, never. That is the worst thing that you would do for yourself. If you want to come here, be strong and be fearless. Kasi you would never know unless you try.
Yes.
Right? And then you would not want that in the future you would look back. What if I did this? Or what would have happened if I did that? You don't want that to happen to you. So be fearless, be strong, and be committed to yourself.
Yes.
Believe in yourself. Kasi there are a lot of ways. Marami ring resources. Even if like, let's say mag-healthcare aid ka, you need to go to school and it's how much now? I heard more than $6,000 for the course. Yes, it is expensive, but there are also government assistance for that. Pwede kang mag-employment insurance, if ever. Marami. At saka pwede kayong tumakbo kay Aldo, si mga mayayaman tao dito.
Wag. Meron sa mas mayaman sa atin.
May mas mayaman.
Behind the scene.
Ang may-ari ng studio.
Ang may-ari ng studio nito. Okay, last 2 questions before we go to, we have online questions. Okay. Yung insights ng collaboration between these educational institutions and yung kanilang workplace later on, meron ba?
Yes, yeah. Actually, it doesn't only apply for internationally educated nurses or Filipino nurses per se. It applies to anyone that they freshly hired. Kasi the healthcare system here in Canada, across the nation, they do follow a standard wherein the goal is to provide safe healthcare to their patients, clients. They value that very much. So that's why they have an extensive orientation process, be it in the education system and the healthcare facility, whatever healthcare facility you are working in, hospital, personal care home, long-term care, chronic care, it doesn't matter. They have that extensive orientation process just to adhere to their goal of delivering healthcare. So that is really, really very important when you come here. So you're not gonna be at a loss.
Yeah.
So hindi lang para yon sa internationally educated or sa Pinoy. It is also for the locally trained and educated healthcare workers.
Last two questions. Nakarating na sila dito. Of course, problema, housing. Does the government support housing for them?
It depends on which route you take. The government programs that brought nurses here, like myself, we had housing accommodations that were pre-arranged before we came. What I hear now from the others that were being recruited, they also have that. And kung wala naman, madali rin naman. And mostly, ito yun eh, the common thing, when a Filipino comes to Canada and they come to Winnipeg or wherever in Canada, for sure they know someone.
Correct, yes.
So, hindi siya masyadong problema. Hindi problemang maghanap ng bahay or matutuluyan, no. You're not gonna end up in the street. Kasi halos lahat magkakakilala.
Yeah. Susundin ka pa sa airport.
Ay, mismo. May dala pang winter jacket to beat the minus 35 weather. That was the weather when I landed here in 2000.
Yes, it was so cold
it was
before.
minus 35, shock of my life. So, ko nang bumalik sa aeroplano.
The role of Filipino nurses plays a major role dito sa community natin, especially right now, especially in pandemic time.
Yes.
Ano ba yung outreach program na pwedeng may ng Manitoba para sa kanila?
Pakiulit? Paano ba?
Of course, sa kanila before is yung engagement. Lahat sila work.
Oh, yes.
So meron bang binibigay mga province of Manitoba na compensation?
Wala.
May mga other programs na may mga sinasabing health and wellness, Zumba, Sikarans, mga ganyan.
Yeah. Actually, ang self-care.
Self-care,
okay?
yes.
Self-care is important. So, hindi naman natin kailangan umasa sa government. We don't have to rely on the government for everything that we need, right? But maraming outlets, maraming resources that we can reach out to. Like what you said, yung mga programs na ganyan. There are also programs that are available through the government and also through your healthcare facility. So if you're already an employee of a facility, they do have programs. Kasi number one din dito is employee safety.
Yes,
that is a legislation. It is a law. So every employer must look after the health, safety, and wellness of each and every employee that they have. So meron naman.
Marami, yes.
Napakarami. It's too many to mention.
Yeah, we'll list everything down in the description. Lastly, advice for incoming immigrants who wants to practice their profession as a nursing here in Manitoba. And part two of your advice, who are nurses already here in Winnipeg who wants to, again, to enhance their skills to become a nurse. So, ano yung mga advice natin?
Okay. So, my advice to both in general is first, of course, like what I said, be not afraid. Ask questions as long as you ask the right people. Okay?
Like you?
Or like, maybe I'm one of them. And then learn the ropes.
Yes.
Like there are already resources available online and they are really warranted and legitimate as long as they are connected to the college of the professional regulating body, the college. That is very reliable. Avoid asking questions and listening and actually doing like following the advice of those who did not experience
Correct.
becoming a nurse.
That's true.
Hindi yung, kasi sinabi ng tita ko, ganito gagawin ko, kaya ito ginawa ko. Naku, mali tayo, di ba? Like, we have encountered a lot of situations that are like that. The advice I would say, talk to the people who had actually gone through the process and actually had been successful
yes.
in the process. And then don't live in your past. Meaning, kung ano yung experience natin bilang nurses sa Pilipinas or wherever it may be in the world is entirely different with the experience that you will start here in Canada, particularly in Manitoba. That is very important. So it's good that we are already skilled, experienced, and knowledgeable Filipino nurses, internationally educated nurses. More than half of the healthcare system in Canada are actually comprised of internationally educated nurses, and 80% of that half, so let's say 40%, are actually Filipinos.
Yes.
You will find Filipinos in all healthcare facilities here in Canada, particularly in Manitoba, and in every department of a facility, be it housekeeping, dietary, laundry, ward, you will find a Filipino. So there is help. Be brave. Believe in yourself. Kasi nurses are needed. Nurses are needed. Healthcare workers are indeed very vital in the system. And as nurses, imagine, we know and we have gone through, there are other professions who had chosen to become like us. May mga dentista, doktor, accountant, who chose to become nurses, to be like us. Whereas you who is already a nurse, you have to be a nurse. So focus on your application, answer the questions, reach out for answers if you're confused. Focus on your goal. Do not get distracted. It is hard. But you know what? Like, as Filipinos, we are known as hardworking. We have the determination. We have the commitment. Be committed to yourself.
Correct.
You as a nurse, you must become a nurse.
Well said. Again, if you need help, okay, we have the expert here, Kelly Legaspi. Kelly, they can reach you over Facebook or your phone number?
Yes. My Facebook is Kelly Legaspi, and I'm also available on Instagram, Kelly Legaspi pa rin. And my phone number is 204-296-6394. Email address, kellylegaspi@hotmail.com.
Okay. I will be sharing that one in lahat sa description line natin in Facebook and YouTube po. So again, Kelly, thank you so much. This is a very educational.
My notes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sa'yo na yan. Pamana ko sa'yo.
It is a very educational discussion sa atin. And of course, ating mga questions later on sa comments, I'll just throw it up to you.
Sure.
Then you can have a proper connections with them. Para
Ilang thousand bang viewers na?
Parang 15,000. Okay, so again, dito sa 899 Action Center, may solusyon. May problema kayo, may solusyon kami. Thank you so much, Lito. Boss Lito, Green Department HVAC, dito sa pag-accommodate po natin sa studio po ninyo. Napakaganda. Green Department HVAC po, Heating and Air Conditioning of Winnipeg. Lito, Boss Lito Hiner, Mendoza. Ayun. Thank you po.
Thank you.